That is some of the trailer for Megalopolis, the new sci-fi epic film from Francis Ford Coppola, starring Adam Driver. It is one of the most highly anticipated films to have its North American premiere at this year's Toronto International Film Festival. And this could be a TIFF like no other. The strikes are now over and the stars will be returning to Toronto in full force. And Marianne Demain is here to chat about what we should be watching out for, Marianne, including this Megalopolis, which sounds like it had some mixed reviews at the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, and that's creating some mega intrigue because it did get a 7-minute standing ovation at Cannes. But then critics were quite divided. If you want to take a look at the trailer again, I'll put it into context because this is a passion project for Francis Ford Coppola. This was self-funded. He paid for this himself, $120 million, and this is what he came up with. So it is intriguing when you realize the price tag and how much he had to dig into his apparently very deep pockets to pay for this. As you mentioned, Adam Driver starring in this, a lot of other familiar faces, so a lot of star power in this. So let's see how the Toronto audience will receive it. This is, of course, one of a long list of movies playing at the festival, which begins on September 5th, runs until the 15th. 25 countries represented through this festival. So just one of the many, if that's your speed that you want to take in.
Another one, well, that always gets a lot of attention is opening night,
Yes.
right? And so the opening night film this time around is going to be Nutcrackers, starring Ben Stiller. So what should we know about that?
Well, it's a comedy, so Nutcrackers is hoping to crack you and everyone else up who's watching this. And this is a big deal because if you're a Ben Stiller fan, he has been behind the camera directing. He's now back in front of the camera on the silver screen. He plays this workaholic city guy who's forced to take care of those 4 orphans there. They're mischievous, all sorts of comedy ensues. This is David Gordon Green's movie, so this should be interesting. Also, let's talk about not only the movie that's starting and kicking off the film festival, but the one that's closing it. This is a directorial debut for Rebel Wilson. Her movie is called The Deb. It's closing out on September 14th. This is about 2 cousins who want to go to a debutante's ball in Australia. It is a musical comedy, so it should be funny too. Okay,
Yeah, lots to watch out for in terms of, you know, what's on the screen, but who's on the street, who's in the theaters, who's, you know, on the stages.
Get your binoculars
will be
out.
exciting too, because this time last year, I mean, we were talking about the actors' strike, the writers' strike, so it was a very different scene.
This is the fun of TIFF. You can go out and stargaze, but also they'll be at many events. Cate Blanchett, one of them. She will be here in Toronto, part of this conversation series. She'll also be there with Steven Soderbergh, also Zoe Saldana. On the red carpet, big names like Amy Adams, Elton John will also be on the red carpet, Bruce Springsteen, the list goes on and on. Activist Malala Yousafzai will also be here. She's part of this visionary series, so she'll be speaking there as well. So something for everyone.
Something that I'm looking forward to is going to be a film that is looking at the first night of Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
I mean, I'm so curious in just how the show comes together every week, but that very first week, my goodness, it looks like an interesting movie.
Yeah, because these are very funny people before they became household names.
Yeah.
But this movie is a look back at the drama behind the scenes. It's not all laughing here. It's not all a laughing matter. Taking you back to the first night, October in 1975, before the first broadcast at 30 Rock. So big names there, of course, playing Chevy Chase, Gilda Radner, all of the names we know from that first season. Also Lorne Michaels, I want to mention really quickly, played by Gabriel LaBelle, who played a young Steven Spielberg in The Fabelmans. So some star power here, young actors, and just one of the many in the long lineup for TIFF this year.
Yeah, there was a clip from the trailer that was something like they're letting a bunch of 20-year-olds create 90 minutes of television. We've never created anything before. And just thinking about creating live television, yeah, it's quite a feat. And if you haven't done it, my goodness. And comedy, too. I mean, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, Marianne, lots to watch out for at TIFF. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.